Good afternoon, good afternoon. It's Kate Careers here, your content alchemist with some content gold on a Wednesday lunchtime. I've just bitten my tongue. It's been that kind of a day. So not all content is the same. I've been saying it for the last few months. And just to remind you, that's because depending on your industry, the way you engage with your audience and what's going to have most impact really can vary. So this whole series that we've been running since the start of the year is all about how you can adapt what you do with your content depending on your own industry and the market you operate in. So today we're looking at content for construction. So building companies, large and small, but actually all of the suppliers to the construction industry, and of course, architects, project managers, consultants, and all of the professional services. It's a massive industry, anything from a very small builder right the way through to massive construction firms. And with a huge industry, there's a vast array of niches that actually make that happen. Every point in the supply chain has a part to play. So with so many moving parts, there are great opportunities to collaborate, not only in what you do as a construction firm, but of course also with the content that you do, explaining how to make that process flow and make the process easier. You can use content to share your expertise, add value, and express the role that you play in the overall experience for the end user, the resident or the company that's moving into the construction that you are working on. But there are some common pitfalls and traps. The first is that people often try to be all things to all. So you end up with very generic content. It's just a list of what you do, instead of actually homing in on a person who is consuming your content, the person next in the supply chain for whom the content is really relevant and therefore speaking to them. And the other challenge is often not joining the dots of how it all fits into an ultimate goal. So for example, you could be, if you're a cladding company, you could talk about providing cladding for buildings, but you're not really thinking about the end user, where you talk about cladding that looks stunning, that lasts really well, and it's really top quality in terms of safety. So actually thinking about the residents or the businesses that are going to live in that building. So if you don't think about the end user as well as the next stage in the process, you can end up with something that's just a little bit generic and a bit dull. So how can your content make a difference? First of all, really clear about who your client is. You're going to be generally in a business-to-business type environment, and then think about where your expertise lies, and then tap into what they're really looking for when it comes to your expertise. So not necessarily just about the product that you might create, the manufacturing process, for example, but actually why your expertise is important in being involved in the golden thread, for example. Think about your ideal client. Do they find you by looking on Google? Do they already know you? How are they going to find you? And tailor the content around the way that they find you and seek you out. Maybe it's through networking, or maybe you send them direct mail and use the content around that piece. And then think about where it fits in the decision making. So if they've already met you, for example, or they've been recommended to you, then when they look at your website, just as an example, they already know who you are. So the website needs to be part of an ongoing discussion, a continuing discussion, rather than an introductory piece. So just thinking about how people find you, who they are, and how they engage with you is going to make sure that the content that you have is really showing what it is that you can do. So if you'd like more help on how your content is giving your business the profile it needs, you can book in for a free content review. So you'll get our expert advice on ways to building their engagement, generate excitement, and do a whole range of clever and creative things with content. You just need to click on the link in the post above, below, never remember, might be on one side. Wherever the content, wherever the written words are, find the link. You can click on the link and that will get you everything you need. And of course, if you know anyone else who you think will find this helpful, do please share this post, tag them in the comments below. And I will be back soon to talk about content for legal professionals. Have a golden afternoon.